everybody, welcome to an episode of Kickin It Wit Dee. I am driving somewhere right now, and it's a bit of a drive. I'm about an hour away, and during this drive I just have a lot on my mind, and I feel like I just need to talk about it, because if you know me, like, people know things that I want them to know about me, and I keep a lot internal. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is being a broken woman while raising a young lady. Okay, I am a single mom. I am 30 years old. Fabulous. Struggling because my knees is hurting. 30s is kicking my ass. But I am 30 years old with a 13-year-old. And I did not have an easy life at all. I had a better life than some of the people that I encountered in my life. However, I didn't have the best life growing up. Okay? So my daughter is 13 years old and I'm 30 years old. So if you do the math, that means I had her at a young age. I got pregnant with my daughter when I was 16 years old, and I had her when I was 17. I met her dad in high school, and he was like the first love of my life, and I had a baby boy. Okay, I have no regrets because I feel that my daughter definitely grounded me to become a better person. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was young, I was all over the place. And I mean, I still be all over the place now, but you know what I mean. When you're young in high school, you tend to be all over the place. I hated school. I was doing good in school, but I just hated school. And I felt like as soon as I had my daughter, I changed. Like, something clicked in my head. And even though I hated school, I was like, this is important. I gotta get through this, because if I fail in life, I am no longer just failing myself. I am failing me and my child. And I refuse to let that happen, because so many people failed me in life. I refuse to do that to somebody else. Okay? Now, not only was I a teen mom, I was a teen mom in foster care, okay? I was in foster care from the age of 8 to the age of 18 in the state of Rhode Island, and the age to age out of foster care in Rhode Island at that time was 18. So I was in the system from 8 to 18, okay? I had my daughter at 16. No, I got pregnant at 16, had her at 17, okay? Now, the reason why I was in foster care was due to abuse of my donor slash father. I hate to say that, but I guess that's the title that society gives them. But I call him my donor. God can't take that away from me, because he donated me, okay? And there was some abuse there, and I landed in foster care at the age of 7, turning 8, and I was in the system till I was 18 years old. I didn't have the best experience while in foster care. Once again, I had a better experience than a lot of my counterparts, but it wasn't a good experience. I went from multiple foster homes to group homes. I think I was in a total of 5 foster homes and 1 group home, I think it was. I try not to think about it, and that's also part of the problem, is I don't think about it. And even prior to me being in foster care, I feel like I was already in foster care, okay? My donor, Faja, was on drugs and just couldn't care for me. I came to America at the age of 5 from Haiti, and you know, America's supposed to be a better life for us, right? When we come here, but it was hell at first, you know. But once again, my experience is still better than most people's, but still wasn't a good experience. And when I came to America, my father, you know, was supposed to care for me, provide me a better life and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he was on drugs. He didn't have his life together. You know what I'm saying? So I got sent to a person that wasn't put together, and I'm in a whole different country. So when he was on drugs and stuff, he was already dropping me off at one person's house here and there. I can't even tell you how many elementary schools I went to because of this man. Okay, he will drop me off at one person's house. It can be for days, it can be for months, and then he will just disappear. He will disappear and then pop up again, disappear, pop up, and that went on for a while. Then finally, he was able to get stable at some point. I feel he was able to get stable at some point, and I went to live with him, and he was still on drugs. And we had good times, but we had a lot of bad times. So honestly, like, this sounds so bad. Like, the best times I had with my dad was when he was on drugs, and I believe his drug of choice was heroin. He was his most happiest on heroin. He was funny. We danced, we laugh, you know, we'll cook, and you know, all that stuff. But when I tell you, once that high started coming down, once he couldn't get his drugs, he took it out on me. He took it out on me. He whooped my ass. He would whip me with, you know, his hand. He would whip me with, you know, a belt. I'll get whipped with, you know, the buckles of the belts. And you know, they, like, sometimes he would put me in like these times I'll be in for like hours, and I had to sit on my knees in the corner with my arms up, you know, for hours and hours. And a lot of times I didn't even do anything. It's just like he would just get angry, and then he'll take it out on me. And then, you know, another thing was I wasn't allowed to go anywhere and get out the house, or, you know, well, Haitians generally don't like their kids going to other people's house unless it's like family and stuff anyways. So I feel like it was a cultural thing with that, but also I feel like, you know, he was like keeping me hidden, I feel. And I don't know if he was keeping me hidden because of the abuse, because of his drug usage. I have no idea what it was. And I know that he used to go to work, and then when he used to go to work, I remember he used to work at the airport. He would go to work, and then I'll sneak outside, and then I'll go next door and play with the kids next door. And then one time I was playing with the kids next door, and the older sister of this girl, I don't remember her face, but all I remember is her name was Candy. I remember she went by Candy, and I think she was like light skinned. I think they were like Spanish or something like that. I remember something like that. But I remember her name, Claire, to this day. Her name is Candy, and I was playing with her little sister. She must have been like in high school or something. I really don't remember, because this really happened when I was like 7, turning 8. And I remember I was playing with her little sister, and then she was like, "What's wrong with your back?" And I was like, "What you mean, what's wrong with my back?" And then she was like, "You got blood on the back of your shirt." And I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And then she lifted up my shirt, the back of my shirt, and she noticed all the healing cuts and open cuts that I had on my back from getting whipped. And I guess they were bleeding through my shirt, and that's how she was able to see it. And then as soon as she saw that, she immediately called 911. And then police came, and and that's how I entered to the system of being in foster care because of the abuse. Now, of course, being in the Haitian community, they think that I lied. A lot of people in my family think that I lied. They thought I lied, or, he couldn't do something like that, or, whatever it is. Oh, it was discipline, or whatever the hell they wanted to think. But it's my truth. They wouldn't have taken me away from a person for no reason. You know what I'm saying? In the foster care system, you have to have a reason to be entered into the foster care system. They don't just be putting any kids into the foster care system. So there was evidence. My dad, he went to jail. You know what I'm saying? He got out of jail at some point. I don't know, but he ended up losing his rights to me and stuff like that. Until this day, a lot of people still think like, he didn't do it or whatever. And I have a lot of hurt from that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like you're taking away my truth and you're calling me all these names and things like that. However, this is what I went through. Y'all can't take that truth away from me. You know what I'm saying? And so I went to the foster care system. I lived in group homes, foster homes. I remember my first night in foster care. I remember they took me, I think it was to a group home. I don't remember which group home it was, but I remember they didn't have space like for anywhere for me to go that night, so I had to sleep on somebody's cold ass floor and waited to get into somewhere because they didn't have room or space or whatever. Anyways, so I went to a foster home. Now, there is a lot of great foster parents out there. There's a lot of great foster homes. There's a lot of people with good hearts. But there's some that fall through the cracks. And we suffer as children. And I feel that when I was in foster care, I feel like I was so voiceless. Nobody was there for me. Nobody was there to rescue me. Nobody was there to help me. I was in survival mode constantly. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to say my first foster home, but I've had foster homes where there was sexual abuse. I've been in foster homes where there was actual abuse. I had been in foster homes where there's emotional abuse. And you get to a point where, you say something, and back then, because this was back in the 90s, people would hush you down, or they won't listen to you, or, you know what I'm saying, or, what you have to say about a person is invalid. You know what I'm saying? And it's just nobody would listen. So you get tired of talking, right? So you just let these things happen to you, And then I would get to a point where a lot of things will fester, and then I'll explode. And then everybody thinks I'm crazy because they were like, what's going on? She's just going crazy or whatever. But it wasn't just me going crazy. It was me allowing a lot of things to fester. And then I just couldn't handle it sometimes, and then I would explode, and then they just think I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I still have some of those characteristics now to this day because I still haven't processed those hurts that I experienced. You know what I'm saying? There was sometimes I've been with black foster families, white foster families. I remember in one of my foster homes, one of my white foster homes, like I said, the abuse can come in all different kinds of ways. It can be emotional, physical, you know what I'm saying? I remember at a young age, I'm talking about young age. I don't want to say what age because I don't want to put nobody out there like that. But I remember at a young age, one of my white foster moms was watching TV, and she was watching some special about, I think it was like HIV in like third world countries, or I don't know what the hell she was watching. But I remember she was like watching it, and then she was looking at me, because remember I was born in Haiti. And I'm like, what the hell this lady's looking at? She was just looking at me. And then next thing I know, a couple of days later, I'm being taken to the doctor's office to have an HIV test and this test. You know how traumatizing that was? You know how much traumatizing? I did not have the coping skills at that age to be given an HIV test because this lady saw a damn special online, or not online, on TV, and thought everybody from Haiti had HIV. And you know, those type of tests, those blood tests can take days to come back. So now I'm panicking. I'm like, shit got me scared. Is this true? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, nobody thought like this was wrong. Nobody thought like I don't have the mental capacity to deal with this. Like, this is just normal. Nobody apologized for that. You know what I'm saying? I was legit scared for my life for days. I couldn't sleep. I was sick to my stomach. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like some of those things like I still haven't healed from. It's like it's never been addressed. It's like once I turned 18 from the foster care system, it was like, you got to deal with that on your own. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, there were times in foster care where they tried to help you address it. Like whatever, they tried to help you address whatever you're going through. Because like I said, I would just have moments where I'll just, explode or whatever. And they'll think like there's something wrong with me mentally. But it's just too much to deal with. That stuff just bottles up, and eventually the bottle just burst. And they either at that time, there's been a lot of work in the foster care system where things got completely better from my time of experience, but this is still my truth. You know what I'm saying? And there was times they will try to force you to go to counseling when you're not ready to talk to somebody about this hurt, or when you start talking to them, they start telling everybody and their mama, so you no longer have trust in them. Because it's like, okay, if I tell you this one thing, how are you going to react when I tell you all these other things? And then all these people are going to be in my face. It's just too much to handle. You know what I'm saying? It's either that or they, try to shove pills down your throat. And I wasn't having that. I was one of those kids like, hell no, y'all ain't finna have me out here. And I remember being in group homes and seeing kids on medications, and they either look like they're zombies, or they look like they just straight tripping, like losing their minds. And I feel like sometimes the medications made it worse. Some kids, medications, they needed it. But at that time, I feel like there wasn't, evidence-based things to back studies up in terms of the correlation of medications and giving it to kids in foster care without proper diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the way they thought to deal with everything, instead of listening to what I had to say about what I was going through. And then to this day, there's still things I do not talk about. I do not say it out loud, and it's just too hurtful to deal with, or it's just like buried down so low. Like, what's the point of bringing it back up? But I feel like I need to address some of these things because it's affecting me. Even when I think it's not affecting me, subconsciously, it's affecting me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm a broken woman trying to raise a young lady. So I have to show her an example of what it is to, be a woman, to be a good woman, to be a good person, to be a good human, while I'm still broken and dealing with my stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's hard because even now as an adult, even though I have that past trauma, I'm still dealing with current stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, statistically, compared to outcomes for kids in foster care, I'm doing phenomenal in life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids in foster care, they don't graduate from college. They don't, they continue to have more kids. They become homeless. It just, the odds are against them way more than your average, normal child, whatever that definition is of normalcy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like my life started to get better once I reached my last foster home, and I was at the age of 14, 15, and I call her my mom to this day. And I know who my biological mom growing up was in Haiti. So she didn't know a lot of stuff that was going on. I don't really blame her for anything, because I feel like she was lied to about things in regards to me. I feel like there wasn't a lot of follow through in terms of what was going on with me in America, and social workers not following up with her and stuff like that. And I just happened to stay in the system, until I was 21. But my life did get better. When I was about 15, my last foster home, and even though I got pregnant at 16, I still had a way better life. You know what I'm saying? I started working. She back then, they used to give you money for like clothes and stuff, and a lot of the times, we used to get monthly the stipends for clothes, right? And then you think these foster parents and stuff would get me clothes and stuff? They would spend the money. They would give me hand-me-downs, or they'll submit these false receipts like they got me these things, and they didn't. So I started working I started working early. I was young when I started working. Even before I was able to work, I started teaching myself how to do hair and stuff so I can make a little money on the side, because I wasn't being taken care of properly. I wasn't having, clothes and stuff. I remember one time, one of my foster moms bought me a coat. And I remember I gave her a hug and started crying because I really never had a coat. And it's like little things like that. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is so crazy to me. I had to grow up faster for my age, not only because I became a teen mom. I was already grown up faster prior to that because I had to survive. Nobody was taking care of me. They claimed they were taking care of me. They weren't taking care of me. I remember when I first started working, I switched foster homes, and the old foster mom took money from my savings account, all of it, and there was nothing that I can do. And then she wrote a check for me for the money that she took, and guess what? That check bounced, and then that took out double money out of the account. You know what I'm saying? So it's like little stuff like that. It can add up to like big things. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, my last foster home and my last social worker, I remember my last social worker, her name was Rachel. Okay, she was good. She looked out for me. She made sure I got to a good home and stuff like that. I went through a lot of social workers. That's the other thing. The system can be difficult. The retention rates is crazy, sometimes with being social workers, because they can be overwhelmed and stuff like that. So I went through a lot of social workers. But that last social worker, Rachel, she was good. She followed through. She checked up on me. If I wanted to look into something, when I talked to her about college and this and that, she looked out for me. She really, really did. And I remember when I got pregnant with my daughter, she was like, and that's another thing too, I was scared my daughter was going to get taken away, because there's so many times like kids will have kids in foster care and they automatically become a foster child, and it's like, well, that's kind of not right, because I didn't do anything as a parent for you to even put my kid in the system. You know what I'm saying? So but she was like, if you don't take care of this baby, I'm gonna take this baby. And I was like, oh, hell no, you ain't gonna take my baby. So when she told me that, I remember to this day her facial expression, and then she gave me a gift. She gave me a gift for my baby. And but she was good. She made sure that, you know, I had like support and everything like that. And, you know, and between her and my last foster mom, they were good. You know what I'm saying? You know, they were there for me. You know, they took care of me. You know, my foster mom, I remember my foster mom, remember I was telling you about them checks or whatever. I always doubted, like, I'm like, damn, I wonder what the hell this lady does with these checks, because I was working, so she would never give me those clothing checks. And I'm like, what the hell is she doing with that money? Come to find out, this whole time she was stacking it for me in a savings account. And when I had my daughter, I had a baby shower. There was a lot of people at my baby shower, but a lot of people came to eat instead of bringing gifts, so I didn't get a lot of gifts from my baby shower. And I remember she had a couple of grands saved in the account. And so when I had my baby, the money that she saved up, I was able to get everything for my daughter, you know, clothes, bed, you know, everything my daughter needed. Like, she didn't go without, you know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful that she did that. That's how I knew, like, she really had my back. I gave her a hard time, I think. I definitely gave her a hard time, you know, being in her home. But it was because I lack trust. I lacked that somebody really cared about me. I lacked, you know, what a real mother is. You know, I want to say what a real mother is, because I don't want to take away from my biological mom, because she did what she thought is best, and it turned out it wasn't best. But so I'm not blaming her for none of that. But, you know, I never really had a good mother figure. I never had a good father figure. But that's just lost in the wind. I left that where that is. But yeah. She was good. Like, I remember when it was time for me to go to college, you know, she didn't know how to fill out the paperwork or none of that stuff, but she sure did, you know, encourage me. She sure, you know, supported me. She was proud of me and stuff like that. And there was other areas, like wherever I saw any areas that I was lacking, I learned to kind of build my own support, you know, to build my own, what we call permanency. You know what I'm saying? Permanency can come for a child in any different ways, many different ways. It can come a person they can talk to. You can be a permanent person where, you know, they can a person they can go to if they're in college and it's the holidays. You know they can hit your house up for the holidays, or, you know, or just being there for them. You know what I'm saying? Permanency can come in different aspects, and I definitely built those supports around me, and thank God I had those skills to build those supports, because I feel that that's one of the main reasons why I got through a lot of things, is the supports that I had around me. Even if those people were in my life for short periods of time, long periods of time, I still built that support, and that is what got me through a lot in my life. But anyways, I have a lot of hurt from being in the foster care system. I am broken from being in the foster care system. There's a lot of things that I haven't addressed from being in the foster care system, and it trickled down into my adult life and how I deal with things. And, like, for example, like, my ability to cut people off, it scares me, because I be like, damn girl, you so harsh. Like, you know, shoot, if Jesus did me wrong, I'll cut him off too. I wouldn't blink or think twice about it. And sometimes that's crazy, because sometimes I don't allow people, I really don't give second chances. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I lost out on relationships, whether it's like friendships or, you know, romantic relationships. I've lost out on a lot of relationships because my ability to cut people off. I don't deal with bullshit. I don't have room to. You know what I'm saying? I got too much going on in my life. I feel like I've been raising me and I've been raising my child. So if you ain't fitting my narrative of becoming better and you just dragging me down, you getting cut off. You know what I'm saying? So, 30 years old, I'm a single mom, and I am a broken woman trying to raise a young lady. And there's so many things that I am still learning, trying to get through, trying to survive, trying not to lose my mind, okay? Because that's the other thing. I feel like I haven't been allowed the space to be angry, you know, to process these things in a safe space. Because once you start showing emotions and being angry, oh, she's that angry black woman. Or like when I let things build up and I explode, oh, I'm that crazy woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to be broken. We're not all perfect. Black women, we have to be strong all the time. We have to be strong. Strong. And carry a lot of weight on our backs. So I feel like there's no room to be weak or have weak moments. And I feel like that's also part of why a lot of us is so broken. Because we haven't been allowed the space or the time to process all these things, to deal with all these things, to address all these things. And then some of us are not dealt with, because that sounds really bad, but some of us have to raise these children. And I don't know about you, but I want to raise my child to be a good human being, to be a strong human being, to be a leader, you know, to be compassionate. And sometimes I gotta put my shit aside to make sure that I am not allowing what I got going on to rub off on her. Because like I said, I want her to be strong. I don't want her to have a childhood that she needs to recover from. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her to be so traumatized from her experiences that it's hard for her when she becomes an adult. And I don't want to have the cycle repeat itself and her become a broken woman. You know what I'm saying? But I'm working on it, y'all. You know, I'm 30. I feel old as hell, knees crackling. However, I'm still young. I'm young, and I am trying to do better. When you know better, you do better. And one of the ways of doing better is calling the bullshit out and addressing it. So shout out to all my broken women raising these young ladies. You guys got this. And just keep fighting for a better tomorrow. Keep fighting for a better future for your child. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? If you fail your children. You know what I'm saying? You're not only failing yourself. So stay strong. Stay positive. And address your shit. Bye.